Hudson County View live on Uncut. And I'm your host, the guy that lifts barbell plates, eats T-bone steaks, and still has a demeanor that's sweeter than a chocolate cake, John Arhitis, and of course the latest and greatest in Hudson County news. So quite a few things out of Hoboken this week. First of all, Mayor Ravi Bala had a belated birthday bash where he and his team are reporting over $100,000 raised at that event. And I got to talk to him a little bit after the fact. We talked about this $192.5 million proposed municipal complex, as well as the recall effort against 5th Ward Councilman Phil Cohen, of course a loyal political ally of the mayor, so we're going to chat about all that. We're also going to talk about a dispensary in Jersey City that was approved by the planning board, and there was some dismay among parents, among the Board of Education, due to the fact that this is about 2 blocks away from an elementary school, so we're going to talk to you about the drama surrounding all that. We're also going to recap of quite a few things with the Hudson County Democratic Organization Chair and also a Jersey City Councilwoman-at-Large, Amy DeGise. And she'll be joining me remotely right after this word from our sponsors.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Stevens Jersey City Ford, certified parts and service located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Hudson County View live at Uncut. John Arhitis. And as I mentioned just a couple moments ago, today I'm joined remotely with Jersey City Councilwoman-at-Large, as well as the chair of the Hudson County Democratic Organization, Amy DeGise. Amy, thanks for agreeing to come on today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, great. So look, obviously there's no shortage of local happenings. So let's start with the Peninsula City over in Bayonne. You had a late endorsement for Mayor Davis and his slate, and obviously they were triumphant and no runoffs. But it appeared that behind the scenes, there were some members of the HCDO that was helping the opposition. I mean, what were you seeing from your vantage point on this?
So I, as an individual, was supportive of Mayor Davis and wanted to work with the campaign. I'm really close with his newest councilwoman, Jackie Weimer, but did not want that to be seen as a HCDO interaction at all. He does have a lot of allies within our organization, so we were willing to help, but it wasn't, nonpartisan races. We're only going to do so much, like campaign, endorse, get out there, help with fundraising and things like that. So there were a lot of people within the organization doing that, obviously not using HCDO resources or funds, but we were really happy and we had a really great election night. Wish that voter turnout was a little bit higher, but third term and clean sweep 3 times in a row, that's I think a Hudson County first.
Yeah, it's certainly something you don't see very often. So, again, credit to Team Davis on that. So with that in mind, you mentioned the HCDO finances, and, this, of course, predates your tenure as chair. It actually probably predates when both of us were born. But the HCDO certainly has had issues with their finances, right? I mean, they've been in the red for quite a while. So, moving forward, I mean, I know your tenure's almost over as the chair, but how do you look at improving that?
So, we were always able, or at least under my tenure, always able to raise enough to get to the next campaign cycle. And, people, I think, put us on some sort of pedestal, like we're the big bad guys out there stealing all of the donations, but we're, more I think, concerned, especially under myself, with engaging with get out the vote people and voter outreach than maximizing funds. And I think that's a little bit still of a hangover, so to speak, from the 80s and the Januszewski years, where the only way that elected officials got any funds was through the organization. And a lot of the electeds and groups do not want to go through that again. They don't want to feel that tightly, wound by someone else. So the elected officials raise their own funds. The organization is there to help with campaign cycles. COVID, we took a big hit, and it was also really hard to ask people to donate to us during those difficult times. And then going into, this spring and the cycle that we had, we just felt it was best to, put some things off into the summer. We're gonna have a little change in leadership, as everyone has heard. So we'll start them off with a clean slate. But yeah, finances were never the huge priority for us because of the accusations of what we're using with those finance dollars. And they also took a lot of time away from engaging with people.
All right, understood. So when you were elected in 18 to when you will hand over the reins next month, what are some accomplishments you're proud of as leading this organization?
Oh, it's been a real honor to do this, especially when you hear people in and outside of Hudson County that talk about us with this esteem, like we're some fairy tales. It's been a really big honor. I think my passion for being an elected official, I loved getting to be able to coordinate campaigns and learn a lot about that. It's very, very difficult, that whole organizational structure. We were really successful. We obviously need to increase voter turnout and have to continue working on that at all levels. But that was one of my favorite parts, was coordinating campaigns, whether it was for the governor, Senator Menendez, now, hopefully future Congressman Menendez, just on with the GOTB people, finding out who, was the point person of their neighborhood, of their religious place of worship. And that was the most exciting. I think we really engaged a lot more youth, which was great. We, kind of built up things like silly social media and websites, and having just access to people and email blasts. People always tell us how thankful and grateful they are for that. The Young Dems is, alive and thriving. We have a Jersey City Young Dems group now, and I hope other municipalities create their own Young Democratic associations and engage with the local colleges and high schools, because we really have increased voter registration, and also, adapting to vote by mail and early voting too. So that's been, some of my good moments there.
All right, very good. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to take a quick break from our sponsors, and we'll be right back, everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View, live on Uncut. John Arhides. And I'm still here with Jersey City Councilwoman-at-Large and Hudson County Democratic Organization Chair Amy DeGise. So, Amy, in the past couple of years, we've heard from the progressive members of the party, not all, but a few at least, and they've said that they really haven't had much of a voice. They're not appraised in meetings, they're not put on any committees, and basically said they've been left out of the process. I mean, what would you say to this criticism from them?
I disagree. We welcome everyone with open arms. Voter engagement is a very high priority. We have Democrats from a conservative level to, a very far left, level as well. We have to all be under the same umbrella. And I feel like myself, the organization, and every other elected official and municipal chair have really worked to bring all of these people in and build platforms and consensus. And we have a lot of liberal and very progressive Democrats that work with us often, and we have some that don't. And we also have some moderate and conservative Democrats that don't want to work with us either. And I think it's because people sometimes come to the table with 5 asks and, say, okay, we could work on 3. And those other 2 are, nope, sorry, if you can't give me all 5, I'm out of here and, I'm not going to work with you. So, we've been willing to compromise. I'm more amendable to, I work with teenagers. So if I can get teenagers to decide and work together, I feel like I can get adults to do that too. But I think also becoming a part of the organization is a stigma to some progressives who do not believe that our platform is progressive enough. And I really think that we've come a long way in building a really good progressive Democratic platform for our electeds here. So if they don't feel a part of the organization, they also don't feel like they're an organization. They lack leadership and some of the coordination that we've worked really hard to put together. But I think going forward, with or without me, people are always going to be welcomed into the organization. You just have to be willing to compromise and negotiate a little bit.
All right. So with that said, when we're talking about your more than likely successor, that's Hudson County Board of Commissioners Chair Anthony Veneri, why do you think he would be a good fit for this role?
So I think what we saw in recent months, especially with redistricting, local, county, and statewide, that process wasn't the best for our constituency, our residents, our voters, and elected officials being affected in that matter too, especially on the statewide side, where I think a lot of us, and I'll include myself in that, felt that maybe other counties in the state were attacking Hudson County and wanted to pin 2 really strong, great leaders against each other and just rile up, a mess that we are, not relevant in Trenton because, Hudson County demands a lot, as we should. We need a lot of resources. We have a lot of people to take care of and essential services to provide. Trenton loves a broken Hudson County. And I think that highlighted that for us. So where my love and work goes into really the local side, I do think that a statewide lead is going to be good here. You have, Commissioner Veneri, who has worked at the county level, but is also extremely close with Senator Sacco, has great relationships statewide, and he's going to build upon them to make sure that Hudson is taken seriously and maybe a little bit more aggressively if need be. If resources are going to get cut or other elected officials are going to be pinned against each other, we're not going to handle that anymore. Hudson deserves a lot more. And I think Commissioner Veneri is going to go into it building on those relationships and not accepting no for an answer.
Okay, very good. And, look, it's not a secret that as much as progressives have some strife with you, I mean, they've really expressed some discontent with Chairman Veneri, mostly because of the ICE contract. So how do you think that's going to play out?
Again, I think he wants to work with everyone, just, knowing him as a person and even talking to him a little bit about the transition, he's willing to work with everyone and he's kind of ready for it. He's like, who am I going to sit down with the most? Who's going to be calling me every day? And he's really trying to prepare for that. And he's not a progressive. I get, maybe not following with all of the ideologies, but I also think he's a person willing to agree to disagree, willing to build the platform and invite, new ideas in. But again, if he's being engaged with in a manner or a tone that people are not going to be amendable to compromise, I don't think that he's going to tolerate that. I was a little bit more patient. I think that, he's going to, keep his time close to him because this is a really big statewide initiative right now. That if you're not willing to work with the party and if you're going to throw stones instead of helping us lay bricks down to, fortify ourselves, that, you're just here to point out problems, not solve them.
Okay, understood. Now, obviously, you're talking to me from your school today, and before we part, I think I would be remiss if I didn't ask you what you think about these recent school shootings in Buffalo and in Texas. And we're seeing a lot of, I'm going to say, interesting ideas talking about limiting the doors at these schools, arming teachers, so on and so forth. So, what do you think of this discourse, and what do you think some solutions may be?
I really beg of people to talk to educational staff and the unions. We're often left out of this equation, instructional and non-instructional, but yet we have to be so prepared. And it was, I've been in a school setting since 2008, so it's always been, taught drills and things like that, and they've just, grown. To put that weight on educators and non-instructional staff in schools, I don't think people realize. You can't just depend on us during the school time, but then not consult us when tragedies like this happen. And it's scary. It's also scary that you could be so prepared, but yet we acknowledge all of the students in the building as our kids, and we would do anything to protect them and make sure that harm didn't come their way. And it's a really heavy thought to have sometimes, especially when things like this happen and you hear the stupid "I'm giving my thoughts and prayers," or, let's fight. Like, I think we attack people's rights so much and then don't look at the, gun ownership and say, hey, maybe we should make this a little bit different. Don't want to take away guns, but maybe this should be different. We also really need to highlight social emotional learning. And that's something that teachers and teachers unions brought to the forefront during COVID, that teachers' mental health was taking a hit, that our students' mental health was taking a hit. It is still. My school district has more students on home instruction than ever, and it's mostly because of stress and anxiety. I think that you can't always rely on educators to address these as a trained therapist. We need more resources to identify students that are struggling and to be able to find them help and resources. My district is doing a lot of work with nonprofits and the local medical community on helping out the current staff instead of adding to their caseloads, giving them resources in the community that are willing to help our students. But it's really difficult. And in states where, the more conservative values are attacking people's rights and what's in a curriculum, they're really forgetting the mental health of educators and those who get educated. And then,
Councilwoman, I'm going to stop you there. But I appreciate you for joining me today. It's always a pleasure. Certainly we'll chat soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Thank you for having me.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Hudson County View live on Uncut, John Arhitis. So let's go back to Saturday for a moment. In wake of the Buffalo shooting and before what we saw in Texas, very sadly, of course, there was an active shooter training in Jersey City at the City Hall Annex. And me and maybe about a handful of other reporters were able to attend this event. And we're going to show you a clip of what happened that day. And, of course, this is all simulated. This was all for training purposes. But nonetheless, might be some imagery that some people don't appreciate. So I'm still going to say viewer discretion is advised as we jump into this clip. So yeah, obviously, it was a pretty realistic simulation, if you ask me. But more substantively, we obviously heard from the public safety director, the police director, and Mayor Stephen Fulop. And the reason that this was so close to home for a lot of people is I'm sure everybody watching has heard that this accused Buffalo shooter wrote this 180-page manifesto that mentioned 3 New Jersey municipalities, and that was Jersey City, Lakewood, and Toms River. So obviously, it was inevitable that someone was going to ask the mayor what this means for the foreseeable future in Jersey City when we're talking public safety. So check out this other clip that tells you what he said.
We have active communications with the FBI nearly daily. What we've done since then is increase presence, particularly on the south side of the community, predominantly in the African American areas of the city, because we want to make sure people feel safe. There are no active threats to Jersey City. When you read that manifesto that the shooter in Buffalo wrote, he clearly spoke to somebody who was deranged and had major psychological issues. But the reality as it relates to Jersey City is it's a good example for what is possible across the country with regards to a very diverse city, lots of different communities living together in a peaceful, great way. So I think the shooter surely didn't understand what was happening here in Jersey City. From a personal standpoint, I think some of the elected officials, clearly any time that you see us mentioned in that way, it opens up a wound that was really, really tough for Jersey City to work through in 2019, and we still are working through it. But, I think that Jersey City is a great place to live. I think that shooter clearly didn't understand the dynamics in the city. He spoke about displacement here, predominantly of the white community. And even that shooting incident here had nothing to do with anything that he spoke about. So we've increased police presence. We're going to continue to do that on a visible standpoint. And
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John Arhitis. So let's talk a little bit about this planning board hearing where they okayed a dispensary downtown. That's actually in Ward B. And we're talking about Cannabis Place 420 Corp. And this is at 1544 John F. Kennedy Boulevard. So we saw a lot of social media posts heading into this meeting. And, we saw Board of Education President Gerald Lyons, trustees Lorenzo Richardson, and Gina Vertebello, who's one of the board vice presidents, come out against it. The reason being is the proximity to a school, as I mentioned at the top of the program. And long story short, it's about 2 blocks from the Alexander D. Sullivan Elementary School. Most people call it Public School Number 30. And, a lot of people just said that this is essentially not a good look. But to give you the particulars, we heard from one parent who said that there's a school in the vicinity, only 2 blocks. It's one of the best schools in Hudson County. I'm a parent of a child going to that school. And she went on, this was actually Nirvi Shah, and she went on to say that this could really impact the quality of the institution here. And we heard from Vertebello, as I mentioned, and she said it's still in close proximity to that school. That school has a lot of federal aid. We asked you that you wait. And Richardson also expressed concerns about the federal funding taking a hit from this. I mean, they didn't exactly explain the correlation, but nonetheless, it seemed to be a legitimate concern of theirs. And we heard from Lyons too. He said, I have concerns about this being so close to the school. I'm very fearful. And he said the community room could potentially be used for nefarious purposes. And, it's just a lot of people were talking out against. It was nearly unanimous public comment against, but we did hear from one union member. And that was United Food and Commercial Workers International Union organizer Hugh Giordano who took offense to this. And basically he said, to make it seem like a crack house is kind of upsetting to hear. And he said these comments are attacks on working people. And interestingly, when they finally did call the vote, we heard from planning board members who said that, you know, we wish we could do more, but this adheres to local municipal zoning code, and there really is no legal grounds for us to object. Apparently, those objections would have to be taken up in front of the relatively new Cannabis Control Board in Jersey City. So this passed 6-0-1 with Commissioner Dr. Orlando Gonzalez abstaining. So as I mentioned at the top, we have a lot of stuff happening in Hoboken, so just really hurry up offense here. Talking about his birthday bash, you know, said he raised about $100,000, and some dignitaries in attendance, including Hudson County Commissioner Anthony Romano. We also saw Bayonne Mayor Jimmy Davis, Hudson County Sheriff Frank Scialleri, 8th District Congressional candidate Rob Menendez, and the MC was former Hoboken Mayor Dave Roberts. So with that, we talked a little bit about the municipal complex. Again, very briefly, he's 100% certain that this is going to happen. 100% it's going to get done one way or another. In terms of how, we're just going to go through the process, and that process of democracy. And he said there's so much vision and potential behind this project, there's no way it's not going to happen. I found this a little surprising because, as you guys know probably by now, the council is tasked to vote on a bonding ordinance, $44 million, to acquire the Poggi Press site. And that's not going to happen without 6 affirmative votes, so it would appear that there's a plan B. I don't know what it is yet. He declined to comment, but this is going to get interesting. Now, as far as the recall effort goes, 3 people from the 5th Ward, that's Perry Bellafiore, Rebecca Cohen, and Barry Grossman, basically said that he has prioritized special interests before our own. And we're going to end on this note. This is what the mayor said when I asked him about the recall. Thanks for joining me this week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, I mean, I guess politics always has its silly season, and I think this is a prime example of political stunt. You know, people in America are free to do whatever they want. They can try to create a circus, but frankly, it's a joke. I think the people will see right through it. I think it's a credit to Phil Cohen as a councilman. They wouldn't be trying to do this if he wasn't doing such a great job representing his constituents, newsletters, do interactive events. So Phil is a great councilman. I think he's being targeted because of his competence, because he's a great councilman. So it's not something I take seriously, but people are welcome to do what they want. I think the general public will see right through it.